facing the Mavs there for the first time tonight since Dallas dealt him. We'll tell you how Luka's prepping for it. And the one thing that Tim Legler does not want to see from the Lakers' new star. Hey, by the way, we got a fresh new mock draft out from Mel Kiper Jr. today, and there's a change at the top. The number one pick dilemma facing the Tennessee Titans and what it means for Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. And what's the Steelers' play going to be at quarterback next season? Bring back Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? Their GM spoke just this morning at the NFL Combine. But, hey, you know where we're going to start? A foe familiar to Luka Doncic, the matchup everybody's been waiting to see tonight. The Lakers hosting the Mavs. Now, Luka traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and some others. Now, Davis is on the shelf for a minute with an injury, but Luka, after initially having a little bit of a problem starting up, he has been thriving as of late for LA. Had 32 points against Denver Saturday night and looking to build on that as he faces his old team, the Mavericks, tonight. NBA reporter Dave McMenamin and NBA analyst Tim Legler are here with us to talk about this one. All right, so Dave, I'll start with you. What are the Lakers saying about how Luka Doncic is approaching tonight?
Yeah, Ryan, a source told me that yesterday Luka's demeanor at practice was normal Luka, smiling, competing, having fun. The source told me JJ Redick said that he thinks Luka will be fine. He said, obviously, it's going to be a bit of a weird experience with the trade happening just about 3 weeks ago and going up against his former teammates. But he really believes that Luka is in a good place. Dorian Finney-Smith, who played with Luka in both Dallas and now LA, said he knows that Luka is going to be excited and he wants Luka as his teammate to know that that entire locker room has his back. And as for Luka having any kind of ill will or hurt feelings for some of the things said about him on his way out the door from Dallas, comments about his weight and conditioning, I'm told that a source close to Luka told me that a beast has wakened inside of him, hearing some of that chatter and upping his motivation level.
A beast has awoken inside of him. So, Tim, considering that, how do you think Luka balances the emotion of tonight with playing in control and within the team needs for LA?
Well, look, on any given night, Luka Doncic, I think, is the only guy in the league that runs a heat check the first time up the floor. I mean, that's just kind of the way Luka operates. So that's just normal for him. So you'll expect that. He always does that. He tests the waters a little bit, see how that jumper feels. And in this particular situation, if he hits a couple early, does that mean, hey, you know what? He might go ahead and try to do something special against them right now? Yeah. There's no question he's hurt by the way everything went down. He's got a big statement to make against this team. I just don't know if this is the right moment to do it. I think that moment's going to come later when he goes back to Dallas against a healthy Mavericks team with Anthony Davis, with Nico Harrison in Dallas, with all of that fan base that'll probably be out there to support him as an opposing player. Now, I think that's the night where he really goes in on them and tries to send that emphatic message. He might try to do that tonight, but I just think it's so early, and he really has had one game under his belt in which he looked like himself. It might be a lot to ask, and it might get the Lakers a little bit off track of what they're trying to do, which is just continue to build. That's J.J. Redick's favorite word about this process.
Yeah, build, and they've been building, playing well recently. Dave, LA's coming off that great defensive performance against Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. What have they said about locking in on that defensive end of the floor?
Yeah, it wasn't just the Denver game, Ryan. It's really the last 18 games. The Lakers have the number one rated, highest efficient defense in the entire NBA. And so it's been going on for a while. That was with Anthony Davis. That was without Anthony Davis. That was with Luka. It was without Luka. And the common thread throughout was J.J. Redick saying that his team's found a way to really just play hard every night. That may sound like an obvious answer when we're talking about basketball, but it doesn't always happen with NBA teams, certainly with veteran NBA teams. But LeBron James has been leading that charge, playing on both ends of the floor. And Luka Doncic, and J.J. Redick said needs to continue with Luka Doncic because, yeah, they've done a lot of work moving up the Western Conference standings. There's still a lot of work to be done. 27 games left, and J.J. Redick said every night's going to be a battle for us in the West.
Yeah, they got some time, but the Lakers recently, Tim, 12-3 in their last 15. That's the best record in the NBA. Now, we know they've got the questions size-wise, and even though, Dave, you're saying they've been better defensively, that's been a question for them. Tim, as you look at them right now, are they in the conversation to be title contenders?
I think you have to put them in that conversation, and here's why. For me, I define it a certain way. Does that mean you believe they could potentially be in the conference finals? Because at that point, a lot of things could go your way, and you could get some good luck, and you could find yourself in the finals at that point. So for me, it's got to be you're one of the final 4 teams standing to be labeled a contender. Can you see that now with the Lakers? I think you can, particularly because we all expect Oklahoma City to get there based on their body of work. It's the next group of teams, and I don't think Memphis has done enough to convince us that it's clearly them. I don't think Houston has done that, and they're so young still. So you've got that next group of teams like Denver, the Lakers now in that conversation. I actually think Golden State is probably now in that conversation. So when you look at it that way, I think the Lakers, adding Luka Doncic and playing this kind of defense, they've made a claim that they believe maybe they're the last team standing to take on an Oklahoma City team with a trip to the finals on the line.
Wow, and when you think Luka and LeBron, you just can't count them out, especially when they've been playing like they have in the last 15 or so. Tim, Dave, thanks so much.
And tonight was the first night that we circled on the calendar, Luka versus the Mavs. We know Dallas is banged up almost beyond recognition, but still a fascinating matchup. And Legs, I gave you a homework assignment. I said, I want to see what Luka and LeBron look like on the floor together.
Yeah, and offensively, what Luka brings to the table and how special he is and unique in his ability to read defenses on the weak side. So we start here, and he's going to call over Jackson Hayes. And look, right off the bat, most guys are not going to take the ball down the sideline because it's clearly very crowded over there. There's 3 defenders over there. There's 2 teammates. So you have 6 guys in a very tight window. No problem. That's exactly what Luka wants to do. And the reason he wants to do that, he wants to keep Jokic on this side of the floor because he knows if he can get it to the weak side, now they're going to have to make some decisions over here with these 2 defenders. So as he goes, right here, you can already see, look at Luka's eyes. You know what he's looking at? He's looking dead at Michael Porter Jr., and then he's looking at LeBron James. He's already looking at that, and look at the size around him, and you think, that's a tough angle. How's he going to make this pass? He knows right now Jackson Hayes on this hard dive is going to make Michael Porter Jr. pick him up. That means that on top, Aaron Gordon Jr. is going to have to be the guy to close out if he can get this ball to here on a rope. And if Aaron Gordon Jr. is closing out from the top side, that means LeBron James has a free drive to the rim. And that's exactly what Luka does. And there's 3 guys in the league can make this pass, and they're all playing in this game. LeBron, Luka, and Jokic. And here it is. Ball goes to the other side on a rope. Aaron Gordon closes from the top side. LeBron's got the entire baseline drive. And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Why I said to you yesterday on this show, why does LeBron need to be off the ball, Luka on it? Because the off-ball guy has to either run or cut.
Right.
LeBron likes doing those things. Luka, not so much. He wants to deliver the basketball. LeBron can play weak side now against closeout defenders. A whole different scenario than what he's used to.
LeBron actually used a football analogy. He's a quarterback, I'm a receiver. That's how they go. Now, what are we going to get from Luka tonight? Let's put the number up here. The over-under at ESPN Bet is 31.5. That is a significant number, one of the highest point totals for Luka this year. His highest was back in November at 33.5. He had 32 against the Nuggets on Saturday. So let's ask the question the way we like to ask it, Alan. Is tonight going to be a scorched earth night? Will revenge be named Luka Doncic against the Mavericks tonight?
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under, not because I don't think he's going to have a good game. I think you take the under because, number one, Jason Kidd knows Luka really well, and so do the rest of that Mavs team. They're not going to let him get off. They're going to do everything they can to control him. They saw the tape from that Denver game. They know what to see. So that's why I don't think this is going to be a scorched earth game. But wouldn't you love to see him, Legs, get on a heater and then all of a sudden turn to Jason Kidd, rip up his jersey, show a 4-pack. We know it's not 6, but a 4. And then just say to him, like, you didn't want me? Like, I'd love to get that kind of drama. But remember, they still have to go to Dallas, and I think that's the game you'll see a little more drama.
I completely disagree.
Okay.
I think Luka's going to go nuts tonight. I mean, he was so upset by this. I was reading the stuff of Dirk had to go there for his first game because he wanted to sort of support him a little bit. I think that Luka is going to want, and the Lakers are going to want him to go nuts. I would pound the over on that.
I'm in the middle between you guys. I think that's his mentality. But I think I'm going to lean more toward Allen just because it's so recent and he's just getting his form back, right? Now, look, nobody in the league heat checks themselves out of layup lines the way Luka does. Okay, I mean, he immediately, usually you got to make 3 shots before you heat check. He heat checks the first trip down the floor.
Right.
And that's one thing, I'll give him credit for that. I admire that about him, actually. So I think he does sort of, test the water early. He bangs a couple of threes in the first couple of minutes, then it might be all bets off. I'm going to go ahead and try to embarrass these guys if I can. I think, though, talk about scorched earth, I think tonight he pours the gasoline. He lights the match in Dallas in April.
Yep.
That's the night. And by the way, could he have a better running mate than a guy that's been through this exact scenario?
Sure.
Going back to Cleveland, that first game after he went to Miami, totally different circumstances. That was a lot of hatred directed at him from the home crowd because he abandoned them. This is going to be an odd situation in Dallas in April because they're going to probably be cheering all of his baskets on that home court. It's going to be an unusual scenario. That's the night he tries to go for 50. I don't know that it happens tonight.
That crowd's going to be so conflicted in Dallas. And by the way, that game could have a lot riding on it when it comes to positioning in the Western Conference. Even though it's April, you just never know the importance of that game. But Legs, as a player, if you go into the game like what Greeny's saying, and I get it, because I want to see that. But as a player, if you go into the game with that mentality, it usually does work against you, right?
Oh,
if you go in thinking I'm lighting it up,
and
they're going to do whatever they can to make sure he doesn't.
Especially at a time when the Lakers are trying to get this thing together, right? They're on the tracks playing well. You don't even want to be distracted by JJ gets it. But at the same time, his preference would be, hey, play well and let's just win. Let's not get off the rails here trying to make this about Luka tonight. I think that would be a mistake on the part of the Lakers. But again, it's really on Luka. He's going to take some deep threes early. Mm-hmm. And if he hits those, it might change the way he approaches the night.
Did I miss a meeting? Didn't the Mavericks just lose by 40 at Golden State? I mean, you think the Lakers are worried about winning this game?
No, but here's
the Mavericks are playing nobody.
Yeah, but also to your point, so they get up 25-30 in the first half. Well, Luka's not going to stay in the game in the second half. He's not in that scenario. You know what Luka wants more than anything? He probably, and he doesn't have any animus toward Anthony Davis. Don't you think he'd much rather get a ball screen and a switch with Anthony Davis on him in Dallas, okay, to remind people?
This is your king?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think he would like, hey, Hembo, what is the biggest point total that Luka has had this year? That's what
45,
I want to know. What was it?
It was 45.
45. So now I will predict he goes for 46 tonight. We'll see what winds up happening. Okay, let's play a game of